Feels good to have a newly hatched desire, doesn't it? When hope is still alive. What about those desires that you've hatched a while ago that have not yet come to fruition or manifestation? Still feel frisky about those? That's the real test, isn't it? When we say, do you know what you want? And you say yes. And then we say, and do you like having desire pulsing within you? And most people only say or mean yes to that when the desire that is pulsing has either shown evidence of manifestation or has already manifested, or they are hopeful it feels close by. But when you have a desire and a doubt about its achievement, then you don't like that desire so much. And that's the thing we want to help you get over. We want all desires to feel fresh and frisky to you, because all desires are possible, and we want to be so bold as to say all desires are not only possible, they're possible to be accomplished in a very short period of time, provided you become a vibrational match to them. When you have a desire, something that you want, and you are pessimistic about it, you're not a vibrational match to it, and you could hold it off indefinitely. When you want something and you don't believe that you can achieve it, you hold it off indefinitely. Your vibration that you run around in all day, those thoughts you think and those feelings you have, your attitude, your mood, your personality, the way you feel about everything is your indicator of where you are vibrationally in relationship to a desire. And we want to say something in a bold way that you may not have heard us say before, because we may not have ever said it before this clearly. If you don't have a desire, then you would not have a corresponding emotion of positive or negative. In other words, without desire, there's nothing for your emotions to be giving you feedback about, because your emotions are giving you feedback about the difference between the vibrational relevance between the vibration of desires that you hold and the vibration of beliefs you hold about those same desires. You just cannot move around in your physical world having exposure to life without desires being born all day, every day. And when the desire is hatched, now it is vibrating, and now the vibration of your being either matches it or it doesn't. Now, in order to make you understand that more fully, that's the version that much of the world would be comfortable hearing. In other words, they don't mind so much these days hearing about desire, and they don't mind so much these days hearing about belief. And they're beginning to get the idea that law of attraction, the vibrational manager of all things, is always bringing you something that is equivalent to how you usually feel about every subject in the world. But in order to really understand your creative endeavor, in order to really understand why some things are working for you and why others aren't, you've got to get a handle on your emotions, because your emotions give you moment by moment, play by play feedback about the vibrational relationship between who you have become since you launched this desire. And that requires a bigger explanation of the larger part of who you are. Everything that ever becomes what you call real life manifested reality was a vibration first. Nothing happens that isn't preceded by plenty of vibration. That's why your planet was thought into being long before the physical manifestation began to take place. It's hard for you to wrap your thoughts around it because you can't step back far enough to see that beginning creation, but you certainly can step back far enough to recognize that the thoughts that you chronically or systematically hold as you beat the drum of them, positive or negative, begin to show up in your life. Manifestations are directly related to the habit of thought that you think, and that's what a belief is. A belief is just a thought you keep thinking. Now, you've picked up a lot of your beliefs from those around you, and the thing that's interesting about beliefs is you think that beliefs are believable. Not only that, you think that beliefs ought to be believable because When you believe it, it happens, so you say it's real. So this is a valid belief, you say. I've got proof that this is a valid belief because there's the evidence. And we say, so? Anything you give your thought to will manifest. Don't let that be your criteria. Oh, this horrible thing is real, therefore I will give it my undivided attention. Oh, see, it was real, it got me too. And we say, it didn't get you because it is reality, it got you because you gave your attention to it. Anything you give your attention to, you activate in your vibration, and when you activate it in your vibration, it's like saying, come to me. So if you're giving your attention to wanted things and doing it regularly, it's like saying, come to me, this thing I really, really like. But if you're giving your attention to something unwanted, saying, no, go away, I never want to see you, I want you to be rid from the planet. I will join a group of others and we will push hard against you and we will eradicate you. There is a war against poverty and a war against AIDS and a war against cancer and a war against teenage pregnancy and a war against terrorism and a war against poverty and a war against, and all of them are getting bigger. Because when you push against anything, it doesn't go away, it becomes more. Attention to it causes a gravitation of forces and components and circumstances and events to accommodate it. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would not use as our criteria for giving our attention to something the reality of it. It's real, therefore I should contemplate it. It happened, therefore I should make a monument about it. We would ask, how does it feel when you give your attention to it? And if the answer is it feels wonderful, then our encouragement would be, then give it your attention. But if it doesn't feel good when you think about it, your guidance is saying to you, you are thinking a thought, which you certainly have the right to do. You are looking at something, contemplating it, therefore activating the vibration of it. But the negative emotion that you feel is your indicator that this vibration that is active within you in your human physical body is not the same as the vibration that the source part of you is offering. So when you ask for something, not only does the non-physical part of you give attention to it, the non-physical part of you, that source, soul, eternal part of you, becomes it. That is such an important understanding. We've written a book with the best title in the world that says, ask and it is given. And that's what that's talking about. When life causes you to ask, not only is it given, the larger part of you becomes it. So now we want to turn your attention for just a little bit back to this concept, this powerful law of attraction. And think about, so you've been living life out here just like you knew you would, on the leading edge where the contrast is extreme, where it is more specifically focused, where it will evoke from you more specific requests because you are leading edge creators in a leading edge time-space reality, meaning the time and the space cause you to focus. You're not thinking about last lifetime or what it was like before you were born. You are focused into this time and this space. And there is a continuity about this time and this space, because as you stand on the platform that you call my now reality, it gives you a framework with which to intend or to desire or to specify improvement. And so as life causes you to ask and the source energy part of you embraces that asking, now the bigger part of you, the non-physical part of you, the eternal part of you stands in that vibrational countenance, and best part ever, law of attraction responds to that vibration. Now, what that means to you, it is so important for you to know that. What that means to you is that that larger part of you from which you can never sever yourself. In other words, sometimes you think, oh, I was dead and now I'm alive. Not true. You are alive and alive and alive and alive. And as you understand your relationship to that greater source and resource of life, now picture that part of you in that vibrational realm having expanded because of all that you've been living and asking for. Picture law of attraction's response to that magnificent, expanded, expanding, expansive vibrational being that you are. So here is this vortex. We want to find a way to demonstrate it. We want you to feel the power of this vortex. this vortex of attraction. And hear these words: all cooperative components are being drawn to the fulfilling of that request. All cooperative components, meaning law of attraction says that which is likened to itself is drawn, like radio signals. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.7 FM. The frequencies have to match up. So all components to these requests, think about what you've requested: abundance and well-being and clarity and wellness. In other words, think about what life has caused you to define, and think about this expanded version, just like the version of you that existed before you came forth into this physical body. This version of that which will manifest in physical form for you is manifesting and taking shape in this vibrational reality. Now, if you can wrap your thoughts around that and try just a little bit to accept the reality of this vibrational reality, you're most of the way to the creation of all of the things that you want. If you have a hard time accepting that, if you say, oh, this is just mumbo jumbo from whoever Abraham is, trying to give us something for our money as we've spent it, we want you to understand that this is a vibrational reality, and all things that you know as reality started there. It's big, it's bold, it's magnificent, and law of attraction is calling to this vortex all cooperative components. So let's say you don't have enough money. You've been asking for money. And as we've been watching you over time and getting a sense of your vibration, we got to tell you, you've put veritable fortune in your vibrational escrow. You've been asking with intensity for some time now. So here is this vortex attracting to its center all cooperative components. So everything necessary for the fulfillment of this thing, whatever it is that you're asking for, has been lined up. If it's a business that you're asking for, the location is being scouted, the people who will assist you, the financing, all things necessary for this business have been summoned by this powerful point of attraction. When you ask, it is given. That's what that means. It is given. And we want to say to you, from our point of view, and our point of view matters, we can see it clearly. It is done. It is done. It is done. It is done. Your clarity is there. Your improved bodily conditions are there. Your relationships that you want are there. Your financial abundance is there. All that life has caused you to ask for, it's there. But when we talk about the cooperative components, now we have to talk about you. And we have to ask the question, are you a cooperative component of your own desire? Where is it? It's taking too long. Where is it? It's taking too long. Where is it? It's taking too long. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I've never had enough. I've never had enough. I've never had enough. I don't know anybody who has enough. I don't know anybody who has enough. Are you a cooperative component? Are you a cooperative component to what you are asking for? Or are you, like so many people, stuck in step one? You know what step one is? Step one is where the contrast causes you to ask. Step one is where you know what you don't want, and so you are vibrationally requesting the improvement or the exact opposite of what you don't want, which is what you do want. Step one is where you're asking for what you want. Step two is source, the larger part of you, becomes the vibrational equivalent of what you've asked for. That's that vortex that we're talking about. But step three is what this gathering is all about. Step three is you've got to find some way, somehow, to be a cooperative component. You've got to figure out how to get in that vortex yourself, because everything you want, all the clues, all the paths, all the evidence, all of the suggestions, all of the great ideas, all of the rendezvous points, they're all in that vortex. And you got to get in there. And you know what it feels like when you are in there? It feels really good. It feels interesting. It feels fascinating. It feels exhilarating. It feels exciting. You feel passion. You feel love and appreciation and enthusiasm. When you are consistently hanging around in those vibrations, you're in the vortex. And when you hold that vibration for just a little bit of time, what happens is you begin to see the evidence of it. Haven't you ever walked side by side with someone you know, maybe a friend, maybe a family member, and what you see from life looks so different from what they see from life? When you get in the vortex, you begin seeing life through the eyes of source, because you and that which is source are one vibration.